that buzzing alarm clock, the dark room, the magnetic pull of your pillow. For millions of us, the first conscious thought of the day isn't about our to-do list or our loved ones. It's about coffee. It's that rich, dark, aromatic brew that promises to transform us from a groggy zombie into a functional human being. We treat it like a magic potion, a daily ritual we just can't live without. But what if I told you that magic has a price? That every single cup you drink is kicking off a silent, high-stakes chemical heist inside your mind. You think you're just waking up, but you're actually changing your brain. And the cost of that daily boost is a lot more complicated than you might think. To really get what coffee does, we first need to understand why we get tired. It all comes down to a tiny molecule in our brain called adenosine. Think of adenosine as your brain's sleepiness counter. From the moment you wake up, your brain is working, burning energy, and producing adenosine as a byproduct. All day long, this adenosine steadily builds up. It floats around and docks onto specific receptors, like a ship coming into port. When enough adenosine has docked, it sends a clear signal to your brain. Hey, we've been working hard. It's time to slow down. Time to sleep. This is what causes that feeling of sleep pressure, that heavy-lidded grogginess that tells you it is time to power down. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds up, and the sleepier you get. It's a simple, elegant system, but this elegant system is about to get hijacked. Enter caffeine. When you take a sip of coffee, that caffeine hits your bloodstream and makes a beeline for your brain. And this is where the heist begins. On a molecular level, caffeine is a master of disguise. It looks so much like adenosine that it can slip right into those same docking stations in your brain. But here's the catch. It doesn't just fit, it blocks them. Imagine a lock and key. Adenosine is the right key. It fits, turns the lock, and tells your brain to feel sleepy. Caffeine is like a key that fits in the lock, but then breaks off, jamming the mechanism. It just sits there, preventing the real key, adenosine, from getting in. With its receptors blocked, adenosine can't deliver its message. Your brain is officially tricked. It has no idea how tired you actually are because the sleepiness counter has been shut down. But that's not all. By blocking the slow down signals, caffeine lets your brain's own natural stimulants run wild. Levels of dopamine and norepinephrine neurotransmitters that make you feel alert, focused, and even happy start to rise. This is the magic of coffee. Suddenly, you're more alert. Your focus sharpens, and your mood gets a lift. Coffee doesn't give you energy. It just masks your fatigue and lets your brain's own uppers take the stage. You are, quite literally, borrowing energy from your future self. For a few hours, you feel like you're on top of the world. But the heist can't last forever. As your liver breaks down the caffeine, the blockade starts to crumble. Meanwhile, all that adenosine you were ignoring, it hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, it's been building up this whole time, forming a huge crowd, just waiting to get into its receptors. When the caffeine finally wears off, the floodgates open. All that built-up adenosine rushes in at once, hitting your brain with a massive wave of sleepiness. This is the dreaded caffeine crash. The borrowed energy comes due, and you're suddenly hit with a fog and fatigue that is often worse than what you felt before the coffee. If you drink coffee every day, your brain adapts. It notices that its adenosine docks are constantly being jammed. Its solution, it just builds more of them. But this creates a new problem, tolerance. Now, that one cup you used to have isn't enough to block all these new receptors. You need 2 cups, then maybe 3, just to feel the same level of alertness. This is also where withdrawal comes from. If you suddenly stop drinking coffee, you've got this huge army of extra receptors with nothing to block them. Even a normal amount of adenosine now feels overwhelming, leading to headaches, fatigue, and brain fog. Your brain has physically changed to expect caffeine, and it takes a miserable week or two for it to get back to normal. So, what's the deal after years of this daily cycle? This is where the science gets really fascinating. Let's start with the concerning stuff. Some studies have found a surprising link between high, regular caffeine intake and changes to the brain itself. Research has shown that daily caffeine use can lead to a temporary reduction in gray matter volume, especially in the part of your brain that's crucial for memory, the medial temporal lobe. One study at the University of Basel saw this change after just 10 days of daily caffeine intake. The good news? The change appears to be temporary. Gray matter volume recovered in subjects after just 10 days of caffeine abstinence. Then there's sleep. Coffee doesn't just make it harder to fall asleep. Even a morning cup can mess with your sleep quality. Studies show caffeine can reduce the amount of deep, restorative slow-wave sleep and delay the onset of REM sleep. So even if you get a full 8 hours, the quality might be lower, leaving you more likely to reach for that coffee the next morning and continue the cycle. But before you throw out your coffee maker, it's not all bad news. In fact, there's a really promising positive side to the story. When used in moderation, coffee seems to have some serious neuroprotective benefits. Many epidemiological studies have linked regular coffee consumption to a lower risk of developing diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. How is that possible? It turns out the same things that cause problems can also be protective. The antioxidant compounds in coffee help protect brain cells from damage, and caffeine's ability to block those A to A adenosine receptors doesn't just wake you up. It also seems to reduce neuroinflammation and may help prevent the buildup of harmful protein, plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. So, while very high doses might have downsides, moderate and consistent intake could act as a gentle workout for the brain, keeping its defense systems sharp. So, what is coffee really doing to your brain? In short, a lot. It's a powerful substance we casually drink every day. It masterfully hijacks our brain's chemistry to keep us awake, boosting our focus and mood for a little while. But that daily intervention comes with a priceless cycle of tolerance and dependence that can impact our sleep quality. And yet, it may also be a powerful shield for our brains, potentially protecting us from some of the most devastating diseases of aging. The key, like with most things, seems to be balance and intention. Understanding what is happening in your head with every sip allows you to make an informed choice to use coffee as a tool, not just a crutch. Your morning cup is more than just a drink. It's a daily decision that shapes the very mind you use to make it. Now that you know the science, it makes you think differently about that next cup, doesn't it? We're curious about your relationship with coffee. How many cups do you have a day? Have you ever tried to quit? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this look into the brain, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.